What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and eager to see this team getting back to playing winning basketball. The topic of the hour in the basketball world is Olympic basketball as Team USA advances on to the gold medal game tomorrow. Of course, no Pistons are on the current roster, so in this video, we're going to talk about the likelihood that any Pistons will make the 2028 Team USA roster when the Olympics come to Los Angeles. The reason why I really want to talk about this is because FanDuel actually put out a prediction chart for what they believe the team will be in 2028. Our guy, Cade Cunningham, was included. I love when Cade gets national attention. I think on a national scale, he gets overlooked way too often. So seeing him included here, even though it's pretty meaningless, was cool. I was happy to see that. So for what they predict for the guards here is going to be two guys returning from this Olympic team, and that is Anthony Edwards and Devin Booker, along with two other guards to go along with Cade and John Morant and Donovan Mitchell. When you look at the current Olympic roster, right now, Stephen Curry, by the time the next Olympics roll around, he'll be in his 40s. In 2028, Drew Holiday will be 38. So there will be guard positions opened up for the roster. A couple guys that aren't included here, who I was kind of surprised to not see here, would be Tyrese Halliburton or Trae Young. So there is going to be some competition. A couple of the things that I think give Cade the edge over a few other guys is the fact that he has competed for Team USA at other points in his career. So of course, Cade Cunningham was on the select team a couple of years back, last year actually. He did really well there. If you guys remember from last summer, Cade was tearing it up. He was giving dudes the work. He came out of there with the talk of the select team being Cade and how great he played. So that does give me a lot of hope. I think that things like that do matter when they're making selections for the Olympic roster. By the time that he's 26 years old and the next Olympics roll around, I think he'll be entering his prime and have as good a shot as anybody of making that team. One other thing that I think does help him out is he did compete for the FIBA U19 team in 2019. In case you guys didn't know, Team USA does have younger divisions, so they compete in FIBA in U19, U16. They always send a loaded team. When Cade played, they had Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Halliburton all on that roster, and Cade led the team, as he would. Cade as a prospect was amazing. In that tournament, he averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And I think those things matter. I think him being in the Team USA system gives him an edge over some players who maybe haven't been. And I just think there's a really good chance that they'll take him. I think by the time that he's 26, he'll probably be a multiple-time All-Star. The Pistons will no longer be in the gutter, and things will be just going his way. Not to mention, he can play multiple positions, which is a big advantage for a guy going on to Team USA. He's a good personality, a leader, a dude who people want to be around, a dude who people want to play with because he gets others involved. I think the FIBA game would really, really complement Cade's play style, and I just think that he'd be a great fit. I really think there's a high chance that he does make the 2028 Team USA roster, but there will be some pretty stiff competition. And I do want to talk about two other Detroit Pistons that don't have as great of a chance as Cade, but I think they do have a chance, and the next one's going to be Jalen Duren. So Jalen Duren was also a part of the select team last year with Cade. At 19 years old, that's a pretty impressive feat. I know Cooper Flagg made that team this year at 17, which is even crazier. But nevertheless, Jalen Duren did make that team last year and played pretty well in the scrimmages against Team USA. Jalen Duren also has underage experience with FIBA. He competed on the 2019 U16 team where he averaged 10 points and 8 rebounds. This picture that you see right now on screen is him playing in that tournament, and the fact that that dude was that ripped at 16, unbelievable. Just crazy. But either way, I think Jalen Duren will have some pretty stiff competition at the big slots because a lot of the bigs on the roster for Team USA right now won't be aging out in the same way that guys like Steph Curry and Drew Holiday will be from the current roster. So Bam, by the next time the Olympics roll around, he'll only be 31. Embiid, he will be like 34, but with his health, that might seem like he's older than he is, so potentially could take his spot. Anthony Davis will be getting a little bit older. I think he'll be about 33 by the time the next Olympics roll around. And they don't typically take all of that many bigs, and he can't play as many positions as Cade. I made a video yesterday talking about Jalen Duren's ceiling. If he reaches the ceiling that we talked about in that video, his phone will be ringing come Olympic season in 2028. But whether that will happen or not, that's a little bit tougher of a call than assuming Cade will make it, like I would be pretty certain he will. And our third guy, who I do think has a chance, but it will be a longer shot, and that is Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey actually does have Team USA experience because he did play for the U19 team in 2021, and he did make all-tournament team. If you guys do remember, there's a pretty popular picture that gets posted a lot on the internet, and it consists of who was named to that tournament team. It was Jaden Ivey, Nikola Jovic of the Miami Heat, Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama, and there was one other guy. But he did play really well in that tournament. He averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jaden Ivey, of course, had a pretty wishy-washy year last year. I think that there's a real chance by the time that 2028 rolls around, the NBA world is looking at Jaden Ivey in a whole different light than what they look at Jaden Ivey right now. That could start as soon as next year. We've covered that in depth on this channel. I think that him having previous Team USA experience, if he does develop into that true star type of player, will help him, but it's still just on the outside. It's really hard to say. I mean, there's a laundry list of players that are young, up and coming, and maybe even a little bit more proven at this point than Jaden Ivey, who would probably be in a stack ranking right now against him. But there's a real chance, and I wouldn't count it out whatsoever. Do I think all 3 of these guys will make the Olympic roster? I mean, that'd be awesome, but let's just be real. It's probably not going to happen. So even if one of these guys make the Olympic team, it would be cool to see a Piston back on the Olympic roster, because I think it's been since 2008 when Trajan was there, since the last time we've had a Piston play in the Olympics. Is that right? Yeah, probably. So, would be nice to see a Piston out there. I think Cade has a really good chance. I think Jalen Duren has a so-so chance. I think Jaden Ivey has a fringe chance. The other guys like Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, I'm not really familiar with their Team USA experience. I'm almost certain Asar did not compete in any of those Team USA underaged tournaments. Ron Holland might have, but I don't remember specifically hearing about him at any of those. So who knows with those guys, and by the time 2028 rolls around, they'd still be pretty young. I know Ron Holland would only be 23 at that point in time. I don't think there's anybody 23 or younger on the team right now. In the old days, we used to send a guy fresh out of college, things like that, but we don't do that anymore. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I can't be the only one who would love to see a Piston on Team USA. So let me know who you think would be most likely to make the Team USA roster in 2028 from the Detroit Pistons. I'll catch up with y'all soon.